origin, right by your face.
Origin is right by my face.
Right by your suck hole, man. All right, hold on. Let me get this clap so at least I get the audio right. There it is.
All right, we clapped.
Jesus, man, the clap is a huge thing.
It's crazy how like the simplest things, like with that, is important to that shit. Like I learned that so hard doing the drumming videos. Like I bought cheap equipment though. I mean, I think I spent like $700, but I also financed it through Amazon,
right.
And it was a process because like at one point I realized you can't my interface won't go Wi-Fi, like won't do Bluetooth.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh boy. So I had to get all these extra, like, I have like a USB port that has 7 ports on there.
Yeah, I got I just bought one of them for.
Yeah, dude. But it was like every time and I'm sure you've noticed it. You noticed too doing this. Every time you get something, you're like, all right, I got this. This is all good. Yeah. And then you put something else, and then you see, oh, I need this adapter, and then this splicer, and then this. You're like, wow, my $200 investment now just became $500.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it gets out of fucking hand, man. I know this has been quite a little bit of a journey already as we start this, man. I don't know if we can call this episode 1, 2, 3, or 4, man. So we're just talking the talk, because why not? What do you want to talk about today, man? You want to get in a little bit of conspiracy theory?
Yeah. I mean, it depends what you want to talk about, because I could go for a while, and even I don't know, and not as much as I know other people know.
You want to talk about how the moon steals people's souls?
You want to talk about how the moon's only 10,000 years old?
There we go. Tell me about it.
It was brought here, dude.
I got questions. You got answers. I
don't have answers. I have things that I've gathered from what people have told me and what I've researched and what they've researched, and yeah, there's like a lot of things, like, you could blame like for how like the world is today, like, especially in this country. You could blame Alexander the Great for that.
Okay.
Because he brought Greek culture from Greece to all over the world where they shouldn't have ever brought it. So you've got just a spread of just all these different cultures. I mean, look at our language, for instance. Our language is a bastardized version of Greek, Latin, and Roman, and I don't think that's it. And maybe Spanish is in there. I don't know, but mostly Greek, Latin, and Roman.
Fuck if I know.
I don't know. I mean, who knows?
All right, well, let's get back to the moon, though.
Well, you can tell me about the souls.
No.
About that.
Taras brought that up the other day. He was like, because I brought up the whole... that there is a serpent in the sky that takes your souls and reincarnates them because they need us here. There's no soul that goes to heaven or hell or the other dimension. There's a couple ways you could think about it. I'm more of a dimensional type guy. I don't think there's necessarily a heaven or a hell. Maybe if you want to name it, sure, it could be heaven or it could be hell. I think there's just higher dimensions, there's lower dimensions, and we're right here in the fucking middle. But supposedly when you die, your soul goes up in the bright light, not supposed to go towards that bright light.
I've heard that before.
I've heard don't go to the bright light, because you go to the bright light, you're reincarnated, you're right smack back dab here. And there's a serpent, okay, that needs us all here to keep reincarnating, to keep going on, because it needs the energy. This isn't what I believe. This is just what I hear.
See, like you're trying to get. I love it. Even Alex Jones does it. I don't really believe this, but I have to say this because it's what I'm researching. It's what they believe. It's funny, but that just sounds like a different way of saying that. Hell is on here. Yeah. We are in hell. And
I guess so. But even when people say that, I mean, how? I think. But like, I guess then, what is hell to you?
Well, I mean, right now, my life's a little bit hellish right now. But I think that was the problem I had with Christianity growing up. Is I never could understand why people spend so much time worrying about something that happens after they die.
Yeah.
Not say, I just feel if you're a good person, you don't have to worry about that stuff. We all know inherently what a piece of shit move. Even serial killers know what a piece of shit move is because they hide their killings. Mm. So I just feel that inherently we all know what's right and what's wrong, and if you do what's truly virtuous and right, you don't have to worry about those things, and you should concentrate on what's going on here.
Yeah.
Because life could be very much like heaven, and life could be very much like hell, and I've lived both of it. I'm only 30. I'm sure you have too.
Yeah.
We've all been in situations where you're like, dude, this isn't gonna get better unless I die.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, all you need, and Jordan Peterson talks about this, all people need is a little bit of encouragement. And one thing can happen, whether someone stops and says, hey man, you look hungry, let me buy you a meal.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude, that just gets you into such a better mood, and all of a sudden you're getting a job interview.
Right.
Then the job interview, you're getting the job, and it goes from there.
Yeah.
I think that heaven and hell is basically a perception, and you could put yourself in hell here just as fast as you can put yourself in heaven.
Well, I guess I can agree with that. Yeah, because the whole because if hell is what I guess the Christian group or the Catholic group or I guess any other religious group says it is, it's supposed to just be torturous and horrible and whatnot down there. And then heaven's supposed to be the complete opposite. But what if it's just fun down there? You know, what if it's fun and then
what if God is lying to us? And the devil's the good guy.
Well, here's the other thing. I've been hearing this thing about Norse mythology, like Loki and all that.
Yeah.
That Loki is God. Loki tricked all the other gods and ended up getting Eve to eat the apple, which then in turn made all the gods mortal, so that he could end up killing those gods, or not killing. Well, killing most of them except for there was one that he didn't kill. Just so that he could keep his immortality. But Odin and Thor, basically he tricked them, trapped Thor, made Odin into Jesus, brainwashed Odin, put him as Jesus Christ so that people would follow him, and that say that Odin would go and spread the word, my father, which is actually Loki, and that people are actually worshiping a false god, which is Loki, that is actually God, and that he keeps...
Where did you come up with this?
I kept hearing all these crazy things, man, about that.
Who said this?
There's a page I've been following,
God,
man,
I mean,
Norse mythology basically being Christianity, but we're all tricked. We've all been tricked. Fucking I don't believe this. Okay, don't take this as it is. But goddamn, was the guy making some good fucking points?
Well, I feel like also it's maybe I'm totally wrong on this. I think it's cognitive dissonance, where it's like you could take any situation and form it into whatever you want it to be. Mm-hmm. I think that I take a little bit of every religion. Buddhism, Hinduism, all those stuff. I mean, I love Sadhguru, and he's obviously a Hindi.
That's that old dude.
Yeah, the old guru. But the only problem is that when you're not like those people, I mean, this man he's multi-millionaire. He does seminars. It's kind of weird him being a holy man, but it's like, you're worth like $500 million. It's like, but I guess things work out when you're enlightened. But because this is also a man who was under a tree for 2 weeks meditating, had no idea and thought it was a day. And people were like, no, you're there for 2 weeks. And it's recorded. It's real. I think that, and I've also, but the problem is I've also seen such hypocrisy in a lot of religions where people, like, especially when I played in the Christian church, I'd see some of these people outside of church and they act like they didn't know me. Yeah. Very, very weird.
Yeah. Yeah. I've always thought Christian and all that has always been odd, especially when it comes to fighting. Whenever it came to fighting with me, and people that always kind of riddled my mind was, why are you asking God to help you commit violence? Why are you asking God for strength to hurt another man? I had coached and whatnot, and I'm not dogging on these people because obviously religion has helped them get out of their hells and whatnot. But there was always, God, please pray for him. Why pray for me? I asked for this.
You're going into battle.
I asked for violence. God isn't going to be here to help me because I asked for violence. God is supposed to be, if I'm thinking, I haven't really read the Bible to get into it, but aren't we all supposed to be peaceful and loving each other? Love thy neighbor, love everything.
I mean, yes, there is to a point, but I think there is virtue in being a soldier and being a warrior. There is you got someone like, what the fuck was that? He's like the first samurai. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Musashi?
Musashi, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy the guy was the best swordsman. I think he was like 65-0 or something crazy like that. And he beat every single person, and he was like 17. Yeah. So, I mean, there is virtue in that aspect. It just depends on what you're doing it for. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily believe why we go to war. I think that, our politicians are pieces of shit. Anybody on both sides. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. And basically, it's like if I talked a bunch of shit and been like, hey, Kyle, why don't you go take care of that for me, right. But I understand your point where it's like, why is God getting put in it? But I believe that if you are a fighter and there is a certain like virtue involved in that. Yeah. But it's not, I don't think it oversees the virtue of a soldier or a person fighting for their land or fighting for their territory. Yeah. It's just that these days it's not the same kind of fight.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, obviously it's different from how people used to kill each other over religion way back in the day with sword and shields compared to now, because now people may say it's for, maybe the Palestine and the Israelites and whatnot. Okay, I guess that's been a war going on for how many fucking years, Thousands. So it's ridiculous. But for us to fight, it's all over land now and whatnot. But even back in the day when people were killing each other in God's name and whatnot, maybe that was the old Bible and that's what people said that God was. But I think people are just using God as a way to get into violence. Is the way to commit violence. Oh, I'm doing this for God. It's God's land. We have to protect God's land.
I'm sure there's a bit of that.
And we have to do it. But then I guess I can kind of see it more through their point of view than seeing it through someone's point of view of being a fighter and doing it for pleasure. As me fighting, as anybody else who fights out there, yeah, it's a job, sure. But you have a fucking brain. You can do anything fucking else in life and not fight. You could do a whole bunch of other things. There's a whole bunch of other sports you could do. You could fucking read books, become a fucking astrophysicist. You could fucking become a scientist. All these different things. The last thing you have to do is get into a ring with another fucking man and beat the shit out of him. And they don't die all the time, but there's a possibility you could kill this fucking person. And then what? You believe in God? Oh, is God gonna forgive you? That's a mortal sin. You kill somebody, you're going to fucking hell, supposedly to your religion, if I'm not mistaken. So it always has riddled my brain when people have been saying, "Oh, God will guide me through this fight. God will give me the strength to beat this man."
But he doesn't like this guy?
Right. So, yeah, what if you guys are both godly characters? So what, God's going to have to choose now? Who's going to fucking win? No. In the end, that's all on you when you step in that fucking octagon or the cage or the fucking ring or anything of the sorts. So,
Well, I mean, I couldn't see Platinum Mike Perry doing anything else besides fighting. But I couldn't see him being an astrophysicist. Yeah, so I'm an astrophysicist. Like, just like so like aggressive and shit. I couldn't see Nate Diaz being a psychology teacher, you know what I mean? But no, I get your point in that you could do anything you want besides be a fighter. Even a lot of those fighters will say the same thing. Like, I don't know why I do this.
Yeah.
Especially when you have like a person as polarizing as like a McGregor, where you talk a year before this guy was fucking making $250,000, $300,000 a year or a fight. He was living off welfare, and he had the same people behind him. And I think it's one thing for you to believe in whatever you can do and believe in something so hard that you want to make it happen. It's another thing for not only you to do that, but for relay that belief into other people that are surrounding you.
Yeah.
Because many times, and I'm sure, I don't know if you saw this when you were fighting, a lot of people will say, oh yeah. Oh yeah, you want to do that? Okay, cool.
Right.
When you can get people as excited as you are about that, that's when I feel like you are going to make it. There's nothing that's going to stop you because there's no naysayers in your head.
Right.
There should be people that tell you, hey, you're not doing this. Hey, you need to do that. But if the people are this guy had a hot girl who probably could have got any money, but she stayed with him because she was like, you know what, that fucking guy's going to get there. I know he is. And now he's a fucking billionaire. Yeah. And he's fighting because he can, not because he has to.
Right. Yeah.
And
who knows if he's going to fight again?
He was hilarious. He's the best coach. I told him he should be a coach. Just be a coach or an analyst. I want the legacy to stay, dude.
People would have other opinions on that, dude. Supposedly because he's lost 7 fights in a row in the Tough Series, what he's doing with Chandler, with McGregor and Chandler. He's lost 7 fights in a row, and they're saying that he's just not a good coach and whatnot. But I mean, I don't know, man. But it's like look at some of the things he does. I mean, it makes sense on how he's flowing with things, and I know most of it's uppercut. Like,
and then some kind of shoulder thing. But I think it also has to do with maybe he has an issue with like not everybody fights like you.
Yeah.
You're your own special case. When he first came to the UFC, he was very special.
That I can't agree on, man, because that's one thing that always kind of fucked with me when I was fighting is the coaches would want you to fight a certain way. Okay, but what about my style? Like, I understand the basics. Keep your hands close to your face, guard up at all times, breathe, find emotion, whatnot. But isn't there other ways you can do this? I don't have to do it your way. Your way might have worked for you, but it's not working for fucking me. Fucking hell, man. So
I think
I can agree with. I agree with find your style. Find your own.
What we were saying was we were talking about having your own style. And like when I started... I used to think that if I didn't learn how to do certain things in the drums or learn, like, you go on, like, there's a thing called Drumeo, which is like a drum channel for drummers and stuff, and they have a lot of teachers on there. The only cool thing about that is they'll have, like, highline drummers come on there and teach things, and even these highline drummers fucking hate it.
Yeah.
But these other guys they're teachers, but they're absolutely horrible. And I used to get in my head being like, oh, I can't do the exercises. I can't do the exercises that they're talking about and all this stuff. And I was like, maybe I'm just, not as good as I thought I was. And then I met Brian, my buddy, the drummer that I drum with all the time. And he was just like, dude, I've never taken a lesson in my life. He's like, all the great drummers that you like that I talk to and everything, none of them have ever been to a fucking lesson. They all just keep playing and playing and playing and playing. And that's how they get good.
That seems to be like a thing, huh? With the musicians.
Well, he said a great point to me. I never thought of it this way. He's like, bro, these people go to school to study the greats that never went to school. Yeah. He's like, these are things that they developed on their own. They didn't go to school to learn it. They might have learned from another drummer, but they never went to a art school or a music school. Yeah. And I always thought that I took that to heart. And I'm like, wow, it makes a lot of sense. The same with fighters too, dude. I mean, you can go to fighters and learn different techniques, but if you don't have it, you don't have it. I can learn as many ways to punch and grapple, but I'm not a fighter.
Well, I mean, maybe it's a little different fighting because you gotta, like, you can't just watch UFC. I mean, now don't get me wrong. I've heard different things of, like, say, Max Holloway. When he first started fighting, he got most of his technique from playing the UFC game. Now, don't get me wrong. That can only get you so far.
Well, yeah,
if you got the mind
look at him now.
Like this type of learning, but you have to eventually. You got to go learn from someone else.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There's no like code to fighting in a sense like there is for music. Like the musical code is like learning notes and all that shit, learning how to read music, all that shit. We don't have to read anything as fighters. We're just here looking at other people and seeing how the technique goes and then going from there, and that's the only way we're going to basically learn it. Is just seeing other people do it and whatnot. So,
that's how I learned. And I learned from what YouTube has been the tremendous help for me.
But that's what I think is the similarity, though, with musicians. You could either do the whole reading the music, finding that out, that shit line by line, and going from there, or you just watch a motherfucker do it, and then Yahtzee, it goes, it's plopped in your brain. I guess it's just how people learn.
Now, there's guys that I will say that have mixed like the learned drummer or like learned musician and experienced musician. There's a guy named Vinny Caluta. He's one of my favorite drummers of all time. This guy is just fucking, he plays with everyone. He's done albums with Sting, if you know who Sting is, but then he's also done an album with Korn. I'm pretty sure it's either him or Terry Bozzio. Either way, the guy can do things like that. It's just nuts to think of like, how do you go from playing a jazz gig with Sting to playing metal? But he also can transcribe. He can sit there. You could play a drum beats for him, and he'll be like, "Okay, that's this note, that note," and do everything perfectly. Oh, wow. That's a real skill. That's kind of a level of autism I haven't reached it yet. But also, I was lazy, dude. When I was younger, dude, I concentrated so much on what I thought people wanted me to be.
Well, and I think a lot of us.
Well, everybody does. But I think that I negated my drumming and art side because I thought people would think I was a fag. and not saying the cool fag of like two guys loving each other. I'm talking about the bad fag who's not cool. You know what I mean?
I guess we have to.
So we
got to explain things nowadays with that word.
And I think that that inherently actually screwed me up and made me become synthetic, and it made people I think have a very weird misconception of me. Okay. And I mean, not that it matters, but I think that it's just. When you go through that, when you go through your life kind of just pretending to be, building up something that you think is right, you become very disappointed.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I can understand that in the sense of fighting, man. When I first started fighting, my only thing in my brain was, I want to do this so I know how to protect people. I know how to protect my family, my friends. I can have people's back. I can protect, and I can protect myself as well, because in my mind, it was, oh, how fucked up this world is. God damn it, someone's going to break into my house, try and rape me, man. Fucking, I can't have that shit happen. Not at all, dude. So it was that. But then I started having people fucking launch shit into my fucking brain, telling me, "Oh, world champ, Kyle, you're gonna be the heavyweight champ, man."
See, I never knew world champ. What started that?
Champ. It was just from coaching. When I started getting coached and whatnot, I started having one coach tell me I could go far. I could become the champion, strive to become the champ. And then you have your friends. Not saying it's bad. I'm not saying any of this was bad, but it started to influence me differently on what I originally was doing it for. Then it started to become, oh, champ shit, get to that champ shit and whatnot. And then I forgot what I was even doing. And then as I going on, and I was like, this isn't what I'm here for anymore. I'm here because I wanted to learn and be able to make sure that if someone broke into my house or if someone was getting harmed, I could drop you a sack of potatoes in seconds. And I got there, which is cool. That's awesome. But I don't think I ever wanted to be champ. I didn't ever want any of the glory and whatnot, because I had like those 5 losses in a row in MMA at 205, and it was, I don't know, I didn't really feel horrible about them. There was a couple I started to because I wasn't getting right, but I was kind of like, it's cool. I could take a punch, I can get my ass whooped, and I can keep coming. It was, if anything, it was a ref that stopped it. But I know that I could keep pushing forward, so that was like a learning thing. It was, okay, I could take a punch to the face, and even if I'm getting my ass whooped, you're going to get tired eventually, and I'm going to fucking kill you, man. I'm going to get you, motherfucker. But so that was cool. I get it, man. But then even when I won, when I got that head kick knockout, I didn't feel like fulfilled. I thought I was going to feel. I didn't.
It's weird how that happens. Yeah, like, it's fucking weird, dude. I kicked him,
and then I was like, fuck everybody, they didn't believe in me, because I was matched up to lose. I was supposed to lose that fight. So I was like, fuck off, you. And then it's cool. Everyone's happy for you. Everyone's happy. But it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. So I was like, this isn't me, man. I just wanted to learn. I just fucking wanted to learn.
Well, I think that goes back to something I read, and it's probably the first thing that ever kept me interested in philosophy is Marcus Aurelius. He said in the Meditations, which is a book that he didn't want published. It was a book of his thoughts on everything. I don't know how it ended up getting published. I'm sure there's a whole story about that I haven't researched yet, but he said, we love ourselves more than we love other people, yet we value their opinions more than our own. Yeah. And this is a man that said that 2,500 years ago. Yeah. And it's amazing how, you could sit there and have this idea. Like, it's when for instance, when I started drumming, you talked about, oh man, I just kind of lost the idea of why I'm here. Yeah. It's, Thomas Pridgen's a drummer I love too. And he was talking about, I equate drumming to like when I skateboarded, because he's a guy who played drums in churches where the fucking seat's falling over, the drum's broken, and I made it work. He's like, I wasn't concentrating on what fills I can do, whatever I could do, or this is the nicest kit, this is the nicest stuff. He's like, it's just the same as when I was skateboarding. I just wanted to skateboard, but I started like losing myself, and I got to have the best wheels, I got to have the best board, who gives a fuck? And I think that happens with you. It's like, well, I just want to learn how to fight, man. I just want to learn how to take care of myself. I don't want to be a champion. And I think people will their wishes and egos get in the way, and they try to project themselves onto you. Like they want to be a world champion, so Kyle wants to be a world champion. Yeah. And it's like, I think that's just so funny because I know you, and I know how you are, and I know that I've known you for almost 20 years, and I know that if you really wanted it, man, you would have had it. I 100% believe that. I don't care what anybody says. I don't think it's anything. It's just that's not you. You're here for something else.
Yeah.
And I think that takes a lot of balls to admit that, dude. That takes more balls than getting in the ring to be like, you know what, dude, I need to take a step back. That's how you kill your ego.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that was a big thing, man, because I went from being the fat child to like this fucking good old body, having the confidence of fucking to becoming cocky and whatnot, and then my ego became inflated because then I started having all these people telling me, champ status, let's be a champ, blah, 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 you're doing so fucking good, man. And I was like, oh, and then I became this big filled ego head, and then obviously that's when started really getting deep into hallucinogenics. I mean, and then coming to the realization, I think the hallucinogenics have helped me come to that realization of, why are you actually here, dude? What are you fucking doing this for? Who are you doing this for? Nobody, man. You're doing this for you so that you know that you can protect other people. And not only other people, I mean yourself as well. I'm not saying everyone's fucking helpless, but there might be a time where someone's being fucking taken advantage of or hurt or something, and you can be there to help. So, yeah.
And I think it's like, it also comes in when people start really getting in your head about like I said, their wants for you.
Yeah.
You get in this aspect of, if I don't fucking do this, fucking Zach's gonna be mad at me. Kyle's gonna think I'm a failure. You know, and that's like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, that was some of the things with like my coaches, man. Like that first coach I had that really put me in to the MMA and really was like, I guess in a sense, like kind of like another father to me with fighting and whatnot, because he was there and he took me under his wing and all that. I was only so afraid of disappointing him, because I know he wanted me so bad to become champ, and he was still fighting. I know he wanted to be champ, but to go back, maybe he was putting his goals into me. It's living vicarious through me and whatnot, because he kind of get past his prime. He's older now and whatnot. He didn't start MMA and fighting when he was supposed to, and now it's on me, and that's what I thought. It was like, fuck, it's on me now to do this. I gotta make this guy proud. I have to make him proud. I have to make my friends proud, my family proud, everyone proud. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, fucking hits the nail on the head with that one, man. So,
and I think that's also what helped me. Like, hallucinogens obviously helped you, and philosophies helped me in a way. And I would love to have an ego death trip one day. But you know, when I realized that the problems that I had, especially masculinity, not knowing where I am, where I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to be doing. You know, reading these words of men that thought the same things 2,500 years ago. Yeah. So it's like, okay, then if I'm going to be bitching about this, there's people that have dealt with this thousands of years before me. There's people that are dealing with it right now. There's people that are going to be dealing with it later. Yeah. So you got to figure it out. Right. And I think a lot of people these days, because of social media, everything has to be big and grandiose. Everybody has to make an impact and change the world. It's like, you're not going to meet everybody in the world. Right. You need to change the world for yourself and change the world for the people around you, not fucking for the kids in defer. You know, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't strive to help people, but it's just like, I think people get so caught up in making everything so big and grandiose, and you got to be the world champ. It's like, why can't I just put some boxing gloves on and hit a bag a couple times? Well, what is wrong with that?
Exactly.
People are like, well, it's a waste of time. Well, it's not a waste of time to me.
It's not.
Just like me playing drums, making these videos. I'm not famous. Maybe one day it'll pop off, but I'm not. But I'm doing it because I love it.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it even comes down to this. I mean, yeah, obviously it would be cool to be noticed and whatnot, but in a sense, we're doing this because we get to spend time with each other. We get to have an excuse to always get with each other. Back in the day, all of us were always together. We were all together all the time. Go to Kyle's house, fucking anyone else's house, whatever. Just saying my house in particular, just because that was the house most of us would fucking hang out in. And now it's this is here for us. This is here so that we could fucking chit chat, shoot the shit, and fucking maybe give some entertainment to some people. But most of all, chill out with each other and have an excuse to get together, since we're coming into our 30s now and all this shit. So,
God, you say that, it's like,
fuck, man. Well, I think it's a different age now. You know, 30's a new 20, dog. We'll
that's true. I think the universe also will phase you out, or keep you going. If you don't do what the universe wants you to do, whatever you're here for, you're gonna have problems. That's when you see people that go through the worst things. And you know, for all we know, all the times that we had together were all just happened by the universe, so we could do this. We don't know. I don't know.
And who knows? Maybe we're in a repeat. We're going to be put back here again, even when we die. When we
the
die,
serpent.
We're here again. How many times have we done this? We might have done this 300,000 times.
We might also be dying and just
we're stuck in a loop right now, man.
Or, you know, we might have already died and we're just kind of reliving our life again.
We're just going slow-mo. The blink is happening and we're just...
I think reincarnation's a real thing. I think that it has to do with... how you are
Yeah.
in this world. I don't necessarily believe that, I'm going to get a red hot poker in my asshole if I'm a piece of shit. Yeah. But then again, I don't necessarily believe that when I die, my mom's going to be sitting there with my dogs, my wife, and whoever else will die when I die.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to heaven. I don't think anyone's really going to heaven. I think to go to heaven, you got to be truly ascended to another type of being.
Well, enlightened.
Like enlightened. Fucking become the Buddha or whatever, man. Because that's something I've been possibly looking into, is going into like Buddhism and whatnot. We were going to go to a Hindu temple, but I looked at the difference between like Tibetan Buddhism and then Hinduism Buddhism, and I'm like, I think maybe the Tibetan one is kind of more my style, man. And because I've been listening to different people.
You mean Indian Buddhism? Hinduism, Buddhism isn't, I don't think that's a thing.
But I thought it was basically, maybe, I guess so, yeah.
Because Hinduism is its own thing. They have their own gods, Krishna, Shiva, all that shit.
Yeah. I just thought it was, I guess maybe you're right. I guess you're probably right. But the Tibetan Buddhism just seemed more of like my thing. I just need to find a temple around here and go explore.
There's Blue
more.
Lotus in
Woodstock.
In Woodstock.
Yeah, there's another place around here, but it's not Tibetan. So, but I don't know.
Really, I've been to Blue Lotus. I had to go there for a class in college. It was like a world religions class, and I went there for like a couple days. And talk about like the nicest, most welcoming people that they just wanted to hear your story while you're there. They just want to hang out with you. And it's genuine. It's not like because they're going to go to hell or heaven. Right. I think that's why I enjoy that kind of stuff.
That's why I wanted you, because then that's the other thing is they don't pray to Buddha. They don't worship Buddha.
No,
they don't
Buddha's just an idea of a way of life.
Yeah, and trying to find enlightenment. And enlightenment is so funky to think about as well, because hearing them describe it is you need to find inner peace, but you can't be like searching for it at the same time, because to find and search for it is to be it's to like want and need something for a certain reason. You have to have no reason at all. You have to just be
genuine.
You just have to be here and find peace within. So it's odd, man, but I like it. I like that because it doesn't give me any formal rules set like Christianity or Catholicism or anything. Because I grew up Catholicism, and holy moly, man, talk about a wild ass time going to CCD, having a priest tell me he was going to put me in the fucking hospital, and that I would still be in the hospital and he would be out of jail before I'd be out. Like,
wait,
what the fuck? So the
never
CCD,
heard that.
You used to go to CCD. Remember Hunter?
Yeah.
So we'd go to CCD,
Crazy
and me
mom.
and this kid would just fuck around so much, dude. Because we're kids, man. What are you gonna do, bro? We're not fucking adults. We weren't even teenagers. I think we were 12 at the time. We'd fuck around all the time. We'd be in the church, and at one point, we were fucking around so much this priest stopped everyone in front of everyone, basically told us that we keep messing around like that, he's basically going to hospitalize us, and that he'll be out of jail before we'll be out of the hospital. Tell me, what kind of backwards ass priest are you, motherfucker? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, so that turned me off Catholicism.
Satanism and evil things infiltrated the Catholic Church years ago.
And then here's the thing about Catholicism that I just recently learned. So Constantine, the guy who founded Catholicism, you know what he was before it?
He was Roman.
He was a fucking
polytheist.
Satan worshiper, bro. He worshipped Satan.
He was more of a, back then he was the they believed in polytheistic things, like more Roman religion stuff. But no, it's funny. He had a epiphany about God and said, okay, well, Jesus is real, blah blah, all the stuff we got to do. We got to change everything. Yeah. Dude, you have Catholic churches in my town. With I'm not anti-gay, I'm not anti-LGBTQ. I want to put that out there right now. I don't care. It's not my problem. Right, yeah, but when you have a door from all the rainbow that says all doors are welcome. Okay, your fucking book literally says you are not supposed to do that. Yeah. I don't care if I don't believe that, but I'm saying that if you inherently believe that, that's so backwards, and it just shows that's hypocrisy right there. Right. You're literally telling us that your book doesn't mean anything to you. Right. Okay, then why the fuck would I even listen to what you have to say then? Exactly. Because your book that's supposed to guide you everywhere doesn't mean anything to you. That's why Christianity, Catholicism, it's so bastardized now. The only real legit is Greek Orthodox. Those guys are fucking legit. Those guys don't fuck around, dude. I've watched videos of like those guys like go to like places where they see like blasphemy, and they'll break things. They'll just fucking start setting things on fire. They don't give a fuck, dude. And you know what, dude? That's brutal, but I gotta give them fucking props because they're
sticking to their book.
Exactly. And I don't know. I will say the Catholic and Christians a little bit, I guess. It depends what you are, but there's just too many like sects. You got Methodist, Lutheran, Baptist, Episcopalian. You got
they're all over the place.
Presbyterian. You have those people. I think we watched it last time. Those people that are that speak in tongues. I think those are those
the snakes.
No, those are snakes are Baptist. Oh, okay. I think Presbyterians are the ones that are like they take this passage in the Bible like way too seriously, where it's like be loud and praise God. These people are all dance the same way. They're like shagabadadabadadadu, and I'm like. I'm like, dude, come on. I remember I went to a church like that when I was a kid, and all these people were doing this, and I did not feel that way. And I was like, am I going to go to hell because of this? Like, am I supposed to be like, because this one kid next to me was like, shana, and I'm like, dude, this is not right. And I remember I told my mom, like, I don't want to
shit up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you literally are crazy. And I think that there is a little bit of made up to it, but I think some of these people do believe that because that's what they see. You know, if you're a young kid, you see daddy doing this and mommy, you're like, oh, baba boo boo boo, you know?
Right, yeah. Yeah, you just follow. You follow in footsteps, man. You're easily influenced by stuff. So,
but I think
why
that
not
Jesus
start talking in tongues because you want to believe that this higher being is touching you, that you're actually being touched by this higher being by worshiping and doing all this stuff.
The best is this guy I've watched. There's a whole thing. I'll send it to you, which is a Jubilee, which is hilarious. This guy literally will like slap people, and he's like, "I'm slapping with the Holy Ghost." And these people go on the ground, and like all the four people he slapped were fucking priests or pastors. And I was like, okay, so you guys were all on this gig, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're the same as those kung fu masters that are like, oh, come to my gym, I'll show you what energy can do.
And I'm like, dude, I will double leg you and bring you to the ground, like get the fucking
double leg,
dude. I know. The best one is there's this guy. They have a whole video on him too on YouTube. Forgot his name. He was a American guy. And he was trying to do his little thing to people, and the guy was like, "Well, if his 2 feet are normal and his one toe's up, it's not going to work." I was like, "What? What?" I was like, "What kind of shit is that?" Oh well, it didn't. And then the last one, he just gave up. He said, "Well, it didn't happen because he didn't want it to believe it would happen." I was like, "Okay, so this isn't real." Because Kyle, if you came at me with a good one, I don't care how much I don't believe it's going to happen. It's gonna really happen when it hits me in the face. And the thing is, like, you look at the demographic of people that gravitate towards that kind of bullshito.
Bullshito.
It's
bullshito.
They're usually the guys that train it. First of all, do not look like. I don't say you have to be ripped out of your mind to be a fighting trainer, but if you're a fighter or a trainer, I expect you to have some sort of flexibility, strength, stamina.
You got a fucking big old belly. And
I'm just
let
like,
me show you the energy.
I'm like, dude, you don't have any energy, man. I'm sorry. And I every time I'm just like, can someone just bring a D1 wrestler in there so we can just end this now, or like a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy. Imagine like someone like Renzo Gracie, like the guy would just get into the ground and choke you, and that'd be the end of it. There's nothing you could do.
You know that they just find, and it's kind. I guess maybe it's a little mean to say, but they find weak-minded people. They find weak-minded people that are maybe not even weak-minded, but maybe they're just in search for something. They're trying to find something.
We've all done Kakito.
Trying to find someone or something to drag onto, man. And like, I guess you could relate it to religion. You need to find something to hold on to. Now, the Kung Fu masters are way worse than the religion because religion can at least get you out of fucking hell and all this shit. I've seen it do wonderful things for people that need it.
I can't lie about that.
Yeah, but it does. You can compare the two to say, it's always someone looking for something, and you could be taken advantage of super duper fucking easy, man.
Or like the fake black belts, the people that will say, "Oh, black belt Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu," and then they train someone, and they hurt someone or kill them or break their arm. Like that. That's so dangerous.
Oh yeah.
And the scariest thing in the world for me is I love being. This is probably a problem for me, and I probably should work on it. But I love knowing about what we're talking about. I hate not knowing about what's going on. Yeah. And so, like, to me, the most devastating thing would be to be like, I'm a trainer, and then like go and fucking train someone and be like, I don't know what I'm doing.
You know that old saying where they say "fake it till you make it," man. But I think
not with that.
That only goes so far.
Oh,
man.
for real.
Like, it's like it's not about what you know; it's about who you know. No, trust me, you need to know some things. So
you have to attract the person that you want to know, and I'm not one to use people for it, but I do believe if you are talented enough, people that are in whatever you're doing, people that are talented too, are like, that guy, right. I like that guy, or I like that chick, they're good, and
people gravitate towards you and whatnot, man. So
and you should see, like for instance, like for my drum buddy, dude, how many beefs in the drum community they are, dude. It's hilarious, dude. This guy, my buddy, he's got people all over that hate him, but yet they still subscribe to his Instagram, still watch his videos, and then him and I will go live and talk and stuff like that and play against each other. He does it with other people too, and there'll be people on there that strictly go on there to hate and talk shit.
Oh yeah, everywhere. They're all over the place.
I've had people make fun of me, and I'm just like dying laughing at it because I think it's so funny.
Dude, like we said before, when we were talking about this, it's all NPC, or maybe I was talking to Taras about that. I said, listen, man, when it comes to comments or anything, listen, man, anybody hating, it's an NPC. They're not fucking real. It's like who has the fucking time of the day to go onto a video and start leaving hate comments? What the fuck?
I mean, I like doing it because it's funny.
Maybe if like you're just chilling, but if you're that person who sits there searching for fucking negative shit in each fucking video to fucking hate on someone for, fuck off. Trust me. I have been almost there now. Since I stopped drinking, it doesn't happen much because I used to do it when I get wasted. And like fucking I would put some outrageous shit just like, fuck you, faggot. Like fucking so stupid, man. Because I'm drunk. Nowadays, if I find a video I don't like, I don't like this. I'm going to skip it. I'm not leaving you a fucking comment. I'm not going to fucking...
Well, because then it automatically gets put in the algorithm. They're like, it's kind of like commenting on this.
And if anything, it's fucking... It's helping them, man. So you're just helping the people you don't like, supposedly, but you're still watching the fucking videos. It's like, come on. Come on. What are we fucking
look what
here,
Conor McGregor did. That's what Conor McGregor did. Half his audience were people that wanted to watch him knock someone out. The other half wanted to watch him get knocked out.
I can only pray people hate what we talk about so that they keep fucking watching. Like fucking, you know?
I don't think we're talking about anything bad. This is how our generation of men thinks. Not every single man, but every man thinks. Right. And I think we live in a very eggshell type world where we're like, I can't step here, I can't step there, I'm going to break this one, break that. And it's like people are so hell bent on not offending anybody or making somebody upset that I feel like you never truly, in a lot of situations, you never truly meet someone's true self until you hang out with them a little bit.
Yeah, and we're not here to start hurting people's feelings.
Oh no,
but we're damn well gonna say what we fucking feel because we don't give a fuck what you people think. We don't fucking care. You know, we're gonna say what's on our fucking minds. So. But we're not here to bully. We're not here to hurt. You know, we're here to love.
I mean, if you want to go to conspiracy, I could drop a bomb right now.
Drop a bomb.
How about this? So I've read some stuff about like you know, it's funny. One thing I was watching a video on is how the Jews needed Hitler to get Israel.
Nice. Right,
and I was like, oh man. I was like, and I was reading into this and how true that is, I don't know.
Right.
But and the only thing I will say is if they've proven mathematically that if they stop giving money to Israel, if we stop doing that as much as we do, everybody in this country would be able to have a $2,000 supplemental income, and it wouldn't affect anything. In fact, it would help our economy because people would have. Imagine if you had $2,000 of yourself coming in that was it. Whatever you made on top was like, you know, your icing.
Yeah,
that's your nice. That's your rent. That's your car.
What did we send? 44 million? Was it million or billion?
Billion
over to Ukraine. What are we doing? What is happening?
What is you? Well, your girl's Ukrainian. What does she think about
she's
this?
Lithuanian.
Oh, sorry,
Taras is Ukrainian.
Yeah, there it is. So, what does he think about all this?
I haven't asked him.
I know him and Vlad were not.
Well, Vlad, yeah, that's what
Vlad's Russian and Bulgarian.
Vlad never brought it up around him because he didn't want to. And I don't bring it up around him. I have my own my feelings. I'm not saying Ukrainians are bad people. They're not. I think it's the politicians over there that are running things that are making corrupt things happen. So it's. Now, don't get me wrong, I think it's horrible what Putin did and it started over there with bombing, but America has started this shit. We have started this shit. Every fucking war, most wars we jump into, 9 times out of 10, it's us. Now, don't get me wrong, I guess Hitler, we had to go do something about that shit. But in the end, we didn't even stop Hitler. It was the Russians that stopped Hitler. You know, so it's like, what's going on here, man? Fucking, there's so many other incidences that have happened. Bay of Pigs, we did that. We blew up our own fucking ships, man. Like, what is going on here,
I mean,
does nobody fucking pay attention to the past and what's happened? And now we're just right back where we started, sending $44 billion over there when we need to fix shit over here.
Look at this. The CIA just literally admitted that yeah, we were part of JFK's assassination. Yeah. And no one's like, oh, okay, no biggie. That was about 50 years ago. So
this is why I'm believing there's only a big group. There's a pretty giant group of regular people, but then everybody else is just brainwashed motherfucking NPCs, man, that don't know what the hell's going on, and they're just following the follow bus. They're all hopping on the bus, and I don't care what happened. We're just riding along here. Like, nah, dude, it's unfucking believable. You know.
Well, they want to hear a really crazy conspiracy, and this is a conspiracy. This is actually real shit. So, Fidel Castro, when he was in high school, he was an incredible baseball player. Not many people know about this. Incredible pitcher, and I heard this from Dennis Leary, a comedian. I looked it up, and it's true. And then he had like all these fucking Major League Baseball offers, and all of a sudden they were all withdrawn, and then he became what he became. So think of it this way: if Fidel Castro would have played, let's say, Major League Baseball, he would have lived here. Yeah. There would have been no Kennedy assassination, no Bay of Pigs. There would have been no Russian conflict in Cuba.
Yeah.
Oh, right. You know, it's like it's so crazy to think that
the fucking change.
Well, the people that really think that our government's for us or anybody cares about us is just
shit about us, dude. It's us against them in a sense.
I remember when I used to believe that shit. I was like, America.
Yeah, no, man. No. I love this country. It's great, man. I'd rather live here than say, especially like the Congo, for instance, man. Like I feel for those people over there. Even in Ukraine, I still feel for those people. I feel for them, man, because they shouldn't be involved in this shit. Nobody should be involved in this shit over there. It's a goddamn fucking politicians and all this bullshit that's bringing us into this shit, man. So it's fucked. Even Russians aren't bad people. It's all just these fucking politicians that are dragging us into these fucking wars.
Well, I think the problem is that people don't stand to see. I try to look at both situations, and then that gets you in trouble because if you're not on the right side, people think that if you know about the other side, you're fool them. But it's just like, I remember I spent so much time learning about my side. I never thought about other people's opinions. So I would look like a fucking retard when I would talk to people. Yeah. And you go to Kiev, all those people speak fucking Russian, dude. Yeah. If you go to Kiev, Ukraine, and the whole part, a lot of those people are Russian. They just live in Ukraine. And I think that the problem is that Russia doesn't play games. They don't want Western civilization involved in their country, which granted, I think that's totally fair. How they're going about it, not really. Right. But the thing is if Ukraine joins NATO and doesn't remain to be neutral, that's one step closer to the Western civilization getting over to Russia, and that's not what Putin wants. Yeah. Now, how true that is, I don't know. I just know that Putin is supposed to be this very big religious guy, and this is what this is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a religious thing because the Roman Catholic Church was started in Kiev. Here we go, full circle. Now it's all the way back. We're right back to religion again. God damn it! Stems from there. But back in the day, you ever seen Bram Stoker's Dracula? The one with Gary Oldman and Keanu Reeves. Yeah, well, remember the beginning of the watch over at Jay's house. Remember the beginning scene where it's like this crazy ass battle. Yeah, that's virtue involved, in my opinion, in battle. That you're fighting for God, fighting for your land, because you're actually getting invaded. We never get invaded. The last time someone tried to invade us, it was fucking 1812. It was the English after, and it didn't work out for them. Right. And so it's kind of like, I think it's so funny that we as our country, we get so afraid of a lot of things, especially us where we're at. We're in the middle, so nothing's really going to affect us until it actually happens. It's people that are on the coastlines that are be fucked. Yeah, I know, man. That's what, I'm happy I don't live there, man. Fucking down the coast, I'm right smack dab in the middle of the country, so I'm good. We good here for now. Plus, we're also the gateway to like crops. Yeah, a lot of food, things like that, meats, things like that. That's where all comes from around here. So when people are like, the only thing, I'm gonna miss some strawberries from California. Right. Yeah, whatever. Who cares, man? But all right, we'll wrap this up right here. Cool. Fucking A, it was a good one. A little bit of conspiracy talk, a little bit of religion talk. Hey, take away from it what you want. But don't cancel me or him. Yeah. Okay, I don't want to be canceled. We're cool, man. We're cool. Yeah. Till next time, babies. All right, cool.